Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a football Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm doing great. My Yankees are rolling right now, and I get to watch some LSU football tomorrow, so I'm in a great mood right now.
We do. So we are going to talk a lot about that over the first 30 minutes of this show. We'll get to the NFL slate, which is a very, very good one. Saints, Panthers as well. Ellis Williams, who we couldn't track down yesterday, he had some obligations, is going to join us at 2:15 today. Got our SEC slate, picks against the spread. We're making you money if you just listen at 2 o'clock, and we'll finish the show off with our final pick. President's Cup on in here. Sam Burns just canned a 90-foot eagle putt to win a hole against the international team. It was a bloodbath yesterday, and more of the same today. That'll probably be all of our President's Cup coverage for the day. LSU and New Mexico tomorrow inside Tiger Stadium. Final non-conference tune-up before the real gauntlet starts with SEC play. Nice to have one win in your back pocket in SEC play, but the rest of it is coming fast and furious. So if you're a member of this team, you put on the purple uniforms tomorrow, go out there and take care of business, and you know what's around the corner. But always a fun time Saturday night in Death Valley.
Oh, yeah, it most definitely is. And I know it's not the biggest, highest rated opponent that we've ever seen. It's probably not going to be many people in the stands in the fourth quarter, but anytime you get to go out there and watch the Tigers and see the improvements and see a lot of these guys go out there and make plays, I think it's a great thing. So I'm always excited for game day.
Got some news yesterday that Kayshon Boutte will not be with the Tigers tomorrow. His girlfriend welcomed their first child yesterday. I believe Caden Cruz Boutte is the name of the youngster. So he will be off the field and not with the team on Saturday. You want to reconsider your Jack Besh under 5.5 catches from yesterday?
Nope, I'm second.
Okay, all right. I will reconsider that in a hurry. So offense will look a little bit different tomorrow, and I'll just go ahead and throw this out there right at the top. The thing that I want to see tomorrow more than anything else, other than not getting guys hurt, I want Jaden Daniels to play this game like he's got cement bricks on his feet. Just sit there in the pocket and throw it. I realize it's not in his DNA. He's going to run, but you need to sit there and go through some progressions. And you can do that against New Mexico. You ought to have some time. We'll talk about the 3-3-5 defense. You saw it last week, so it shouldn't be anything that they can't handle. And you need to throw the football. Don't rely on the crutch. You can use the crutch next week at Auburn. Okay, that's fine. But in this situation, let's see if we can deliver the football. So what I'll be watching is when Jaden Daniels takes a snap and that back foot hits the ground, does the ball come out right there?
Yep.
That's goal number one for me tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's something that you've heard Coach Denbrock, you've heard Coach Kelly, and even Coach Sloan. They've been talking about that all season. I think that's just obviously the next progression for Jaden. You feel comfortable, obviously, with what he can do with his legs. You feel comfortable with him not turning the football over, but just hitting your targets, getting to the next progression, being comfortable with your eyes are showing you down the field, and being able to make those throws. And I think anytime you're in Jaden's shoes where, there's so much on his plate when you're the quarterback of LSU, you want to go out there and make plays. It seems like sometimes he's a little gun-shy with throwing the football, but when you look at the weapons he has on the outside, those guys can get open, especially this week. There's going to be some wide-open guys this week. I'm willing to pound the table and tell you guys that right now. So I totally agree with you with Jaden. Make that next progression. If you can kind of do that, you can see him getting a lot better as his season kind of progresses.
I know, and this won't happen, but it's just something that I think about sometimes is college kids are impressionable, and you can't go up to them and say, hey, guys, we're going to win this game by 40 points, so here's what we're going to do differently. Like, I understand you can't do that, but I don't think there's any problem in coaching Jay Daniels say, hey, in this game, we're going to protect you. It's going to be okay. I'm comfortable with our game plan. I would like to change this. Let's just sit in the pocket a little bit longer than you think. The run's always going to be there, and it's going to be a big part of what we do, and I'm not telling you that you got to just abandon that totally, but just give it a couple more seconds. There's a story about Matt Mauck that he broke his foot in the swamp running around in that 41-7 game in 2002. And he didn't play again the rest of the season. Marcus Randall jumped in and played. And in that spring, he was able to do some things, but he couldn't really run full throat. So he basically just ran the offense from the pocket. And he went from the guy that we saw in the SC Championship game against Tennessee running all over the yard to a guy that set the touchdown passing record at LSU with Clayton and Henderson and Skylar Green and all those guys in 2003. It can develop. And Jaden Daniels is a seasoned player. Matt Mauck wasn't at that point, but The same kind of premise remains here. You're not hurt, but just work from the pocket. I think he can do it. He's got enough arm. He's got plenty of receivers that should be able to break open. The scheme's been there. You've talked about it for 3 weeks now. Do you think he can do it? I mean, do you think that he can for one game scale it down a little bit and just throw the football? Or is that just too much to ask? Go out there and play.
I mean, that's a great question, actually, when you really think about it. Especially when you watch Jayden kind of the last season he had at Arizona State, and you kind of see him kind of play the way he has this year. And I think when you see him kind of turn the ball over the amount of times he did last year, I think coming in LSU, he wants to rectify that. He wants to fix that. He doesn't want to throw 10 interceptions this season. I think you're kind of seeing him be a lot more gun shy than he is. And so that's a great question. I would love to see it. I don't know. It's such a great question because to me, I watched it again last week.
Yep.
He's looking at the guys that are wide open. I'm like, dude, you're looking their way. Just kind of throw the ball. Yeah, let it rip. So we'll see, man. I sure hope he does, because if he does, man, these weapons on the outside, they're going to make plays, and I'm excited to see those guys get some more opportunities.
I think a big game tomorrow for John Emery. I think any illusions of grandeur you had of him being the number one running back in the country and being an All-American and being a bell cow, that's probably a little much to ask at this point in his career. It just hasn't materialized. His freshman year, he was buried on the depth chart. His sophomore year was a crazy COVID deal. He got suspended last year. I'm not telling you anything's impossible, but it's not to be expected. But he needs to get back in game shape to help this team, because he is a playmaker that can do some things with the football. This is a great game, in my opinion. If Brian Kelly, every time he was asked about John Emery entering the game last week, he said, well, but we can't put too much on his plate. He hasn't played in 2 years. We can't overwork him. We got to ease him in. He's going to be on a pitch count. All these little buzzwords that he said. Look, let's give him 20 touches in this game. What's it going to hurt? Get out there, let him play, because I think he unlocks a little bit more in this offense.
Yeah, no, I think that's the next progression for this run game. I think you feel good about what you got with Goodwin. I think that was a world of confidence for him, as a young player in this offense. But I think we all kind of know, if you kind of pick like who's the most talented runner you probably have on this team, I think everyone constantly wants to see what John Emery can do with those opportunities. So this is a perfect week. Kind of had last week to get his legs underneath him. Took some hits I probably didn't want him to take. But I think, going into this week, I think this is a great opportunity to get him going, get him rolling. Now you have a little two-headed running attack, and then you obviously know what Williams can do in the pass game. So, yeah, I want to see Emery get a lot more touches this week.
Rocky Long has got to be a little bit bummed out about how this schedule worked out for New Mexico and for LSU more specifically. Rocky Long, kind of a legend out on the West Coast. Run that 3-3-5 defense, head coach at a couple different stops out west, now in his early 70s, defensive coordinator for New Mexico. He used to be the head coach at New Mexico as well. You don't see that very often, being a head coach somewhere and then coming back as a DC a little bit later. But one of his understudies was Zach Arnett, who brought that 3-3-5 from the West Coast to Mississippi State and has run it for 3 years in Starkville. Just so behold, Tigers played Zach Arnett 6 days ago. So they just looked at this defense that is a little bit different than a lot of teams traditionally run. It's that 3-3-5, and that's Rocky Long's trademark, and it is what it is. And LSU just looked at it with bigger, faster, stronger players. Any kind of schematic advantage that you might have that might give LSU a little bit of trouble with the different looks that you would give, LSU's now been repping it for 2 weeks, so sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like going against the air raid if you're LSU this week. It's like, we just saw that last week. Not that big of a deal. We kind of got the game plan ready for that. So, I think especially when you look at the opponent on top of the game plan, it's like you should be able to do what you want to do offensively. You should be able to run the ball. You should be able to, get the pass game rolling a little bit. And to me, I've said it all this season long. I want to see them start fast. You got that against Southern. It was Southern, I know. But you got to start fast. Like, just get used to scoring quick. Get used to, playing the right way early on this game. We don't need any false start penalties. Don't need any holding penalties. Let's start this game fast. You've seen the looks already, so let's get this thing rolling. You,
as a running back, have got to love when you get up to break the huddle and look up, and then you got a 3 down lineman, the 3 linebackers. That's the box. The rest of them are kind of in an umbrella over the top. You got a 6-man box. That's, to me, screams like could be a quick game because we run the football a lot.
I don't think I ever saw that my entire life
not.
Not at LSU. Not at LSU, but as a running back, I would love that. I mean, you got to respect the receivers on the outside, and that's the thing that makes this offense, potentially be special because, it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to pick your poison. Like if Kayshawn's rolling, you got Jure rolling. See, I got to give Jure some love. Got Jure rolling, you got Malik rolling, and then now you can't just put 8 guys in the box, and it's going to open up some run lane. You saw Goodwin really didn't have to make any cuts in that big run that he had late in the game, ran straight right to the end zone, and so that's the kind kind of world I think Denbrock wants to live in, make teams, unbalanced, on their heels, kind of guessing what they're going to do. What do we take away? And the best way to do that is kind of get that run game going.
I'll speak for you here. I don't want to make a habit of that, but I will speak for you here. For those that are concerned with LSU's first half starts against Florida State and Mississippi State, the offense that has been called has been pretty good. There are guys open. I promise the calls have been good. Yeah. The quarterback just hasn't quite gotten there yet, and we'll see if that happens. You were talking about you never seeing the six-man box. I don't remember your draft leading into it, but I do remember Leonard's draft leading into it, and they were given some stats about eight-man boxes that were just horrifying. The amount of times he saw an eight-man box in his time at LSU, and I'm sure it was the exact same for you. I distinctly remember Matt Canada's first game. LSU played BYU, and I paused my TV screen. That was my first game doing the post game, and I went, "Oh my God, there's only 6 guys in the box. This is unbelievable." Yeah. It was just an era of just 8 guys just all over the place.
No, it's unreal when you think about it. But the tricky part about that, and that a lot of people don't know, and you saw Leonard make his hay with that. You saw a lot of LSU running back make their hay. When you put all those guys in the box, you get to the second level. There's no one there. So it's a delicate dance you got to do as a defense. Hey, we want to stop you right here. But if you bust through that thing, there's nothing there. So I think that's kind of why you see teams, kind of getting away from that, not want to give up those big runs and those big plays. Let's get some safeties a little deeper. Let's focus more on these receivers. But back then, man,
I mean, I saw some Leonard and Geis, it was like 6 years straight breaking the linebacker level, and it was just right out the back door because there's nobody left. Everybody was blocked up. So that is a good point. But so we'll see an interesting defense with LSU and New Mexico tomorrow night inside Tiger Stadium. Our final picks for the game coming up at the end of our show. We're with you until 3 o'clock. We'll come back and talk a little LSU defense against New Mexico. That's next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction. You can find them at reliableroofingbr.com. That is reliableroofingbr.com.
Yeah, so happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
They give you a free estimate on what it is that needs to be done. They're happy to go up and inspect your roof. They're happy to repair your roof. Happy to replace your roof as well. They work with your insurance company and get all of that done in the event of a storm. And look, 5-year labor warranty on every job they perform. 5-year labor warranty. They've got the highest quality shingles. They got the best options in terms of shingles. And Lionel Hayes, the owner, visits every single job site that his crews go to. He's from Baton Rouge. He started his company in Baton Rouge. He's here to serve the Baton Rouge area. It is Reliable Roofing and Construction. Check out the website, reliableroofingbr.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
Jimmy on this Sunday. It's our 2022 season debut, Football Sunday. Magnolia Bluffs, Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill here, talking LSU and New Mexico inside Tiger Stadium tomorrow. Purple jersey's going to come out. What do you think about the purple jerseys?
I didn't have anything other than the purple, yellow, the white, and yellow. So to me, it's like, I don't mind a little change up every blue moon. Not for a big game, though. If we're playing the Lobos, we're playing, App State or someone like that. Yeah, let's switch it up a little bit. But big game, no way. We got to have the white and yellow on for sure.
That's what I like to hear. 6:30 is the kickoff tomorrow. I'll give you our schedule for the day. That means 1:30, Eagle 98.1 game day will fire up from Rouse's over on Burbank. That'll be Charles Hannegriff and Matt Musso. I will take the reins at 4:30 on the LSU Sports Radio Network, along with Marlon and Brandon. Will be just outside Tiger Stadium between the ramps of the PMAC. We will get you to 30 minutes before kickoff and toss it inside to the broadcast team. They'll have the call of the game. 30 minutes after the game goes final, Brandon, Marlon, and myself back with the Fighting Tiger post-game report, and that'll be for about an hour and 90 minutes after it goes final. Charlie and Jeremy from right here on Eagle 98 Game Day for the post-game show, taking your phone calls from right here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. So full day of coverage here on Eagle 98.1 and simulcast on 104.5 ESPN at Baton Rouge. Usually each week I'll go to YouTube and look at some highlights of the team that LSU's played. And so I cranked up the YouTube highlights of the New Mexico game from last week against UTEP. Win the game, I remember look at it. I was like, when is their offense going to... There was one offensive highlight in the game they won. Why? Because they forced 7 turnovers in the game against UTEP. Tough to win, Miners, when you cough it up 7 times.
Yeah, talk about just handing a team a W. It gets to a point to where you just probably just head to the locker room like, hey, it's over already. 7 turnovers. Can you try to get 7 turnovers on purpose? When they drop an interception or something, I don't think you could try to get 7 turnovers.
They kept dropping the ball. They kept fumbling. I was like, stop dropping the ball. It's not that hard. When you've done it 3 times already, maybe stop doing that. But New Mexico on offense, I was talking to Robert Steeples earlier today, LSU's cornerbacks coach, for the pregame interview that you'll hear tomorrow on the network. And he said it's kind of an option scheme. It's not the triple option. It doesn't look anything like the triple option, but there is some read option stuff and there's some run pass option stuff, not unlike a lot of teams are doing now. But essentially, it's going to be a discipline game for LSU, and that's the thing that you've got to stay locked in on, because you walk out there and you're the superior team athletically. You can just look and see that you're bigger and stronger than the other team, but when you've got an offense that is disciplined and understands what it's trying to go through, you got to stay in your spot. So defensively for LSU, it's just an assignment game.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's a game where you want to clear up the order of operations. We talked about that going into this other game. Let's kind of fix some of the things, that were ailing us. And this is another week where you kind of want to do that. You want to get the starters in there. You want to get those guys fluid. You want to get those guys, get the reps, get out the game, get everyone out of here healthy. And let's get some young guys this week, some reps. And hopefully we see a little Nuss. Hopefully he can kind of change some of those decisions he made and kind of get him going, just in case, something does happen to Jaden. He does scramble a lot. So if something does, he gets nicked, you feel comfortable about Nuss getting out there. He hasn't had a world of reps throughout his entire career. So get him out there, get him going with some of those receivers, get him some confidence, and get the rest of those guys some confidence as well.
I expect to see Quincy Wiggins dressed this weekend. We'll see whether or not he plays. That'd be exciting. I've enjoyed a lot watching Harold Perkins play. I think the best thing for me about this LSU defense has been the fact that you just have not seen the busts that have plagued this team over the last few years. Really, the last 2 years. There's just been so many times where there were busts in the secondary, and that happens when you got your fourth defensive coordinator in 4 years and you continue to learn new schemes and new terminology and then when you consider the fact that LSU's entire secondary is all from wherever, from Oklahoma State and ULL and McNeese and Arkansas, they're from all over the place. And so to come in, learn the system, and to not have really any bust thus far against two very respected college football offensive minds in Mike Norvell and Mike Leach, that is, to me, a very encouraging thing about the rest of the season. I don't think LSU's got a ton of All-Americans in the secondary, but they've played pretty well thus far, and they've been where they're supposed to be, and that's the first thing you got to get right.
Yeah, that was the scariest thing watching 2020. I still can't get Costello out of my head, man. How that was brutal. Then you follow that up with 2021. It just was not the LSU defenses we're used to watching. And so I think, seeing Matt House switch things up, getting more exotic NFL looks with some of these college quarterbacks, it's very difficult for these guys to prepare for that stuff, especially when you're changing it up week in and week out. And that's something I think Matt House will do. You're not going to see the exact same looks you saw against Mississippi State. And if you do see him, they're going to bring a different guy from a different area that you thought, oh, maybe we saw this look last week. No, he's coming from the other side now. So when you do things like that, you can just be a lot more exotic, keep these offenses on their toes. A lot of these coordinators get paid a lot of money to scheme up these defenses. So the best, order of operations to go against that is keep them on their toes. Don't show them the same looks over and over and over. So projecting out towards the season, I can continue to see Matt House continue to change things up.
This has nothing to do with the game tomorrow, but I'm going to toss it in there because it reminded me of when you were talking about that. I have trouble schematically dealing with defensive coordinators and what they're doing. I mean, I can tell if somebody is in zone or somebody's in man. I can tell where a blitz comes from, but as far as a lot of stuff, I can't really tell, except the national championship game against Clemson. Mm-hmm. I could very visibly see they were walking guys down, dropping linemen, it was as creative. Me as not an X's and O's guy, I could tell how creative Brent Venables and that Clemson defense were, and they stymied LSU for like 10 minutes of game time, and that's really all you could do. I mean, that's as good as you could do. And then the floodgates broke open, and they scored 40 points. But but it's just that to me, Brent Venables was so creative and so disruptive that even me, the novice guy looking at it, could tell how good that scheme was.
Yeah, no, and I think that's, like I said, when you're dealing with college offenses, and I think with that team, when you got Justin Jefferson, you got Jamar Chase, sometimes the athletes just kind of take over. Doesn't matter what you're doing on the outside, but to start the game, it's definitely something you got to worry about because you got guys coming from different areas. It's looks you haven't seen on film. Off these offenses, you're watching film day in and day out. You're going home, getting on the iPad, watching all of the blitz, watching everything that they do. But the great coordinators, they show you those same look and they bring someone else or they change it up what they're doing. So a lot of times it takes time to adjust. And so I think for Matt House, that's something that he's done at a high level to start this season. Obviously, to me, even the Florida State game, if they tackle a lot better than they did, that game goes a lot different. And obviously third down was a big issue. But going forward, I love the fact that they're changing up things. I think that's going to be, a big reason why this defense is just way more successful than they have been in the past 2 years.
How do you think they'll use Harold Perkins moving forward? I'll watch him tomorrow and kind of see. But that is fascinating to me because there's so much depth at linebacker, and it's all so evenly bunched that they rotate him in. But then we've seen him rush the passer a little bit off the edge. We've seen him used in blitz pickup. I haven't seen a lot of him moving backwards, which I think they're more comfortable with Baskerville and Jones and some of those guys doing that. But I'm curious if his role evolves or if the role that we've seen the last 2 weeks becomes what he is on this team before he becomes a star next year.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I sure hope it evolves. To me, he's one of your best players on your defense right now as a true freshman. And so as many more snaps you can get that kid, I think it just helps the team. He's got to go out there and make plays, especially against a team like this. So I don't know what it is. I would love to see him just on the field. Maybe you rotate Weeks in, maybe you rotate Penn and rotate some other guys in. But to me, I don't see a world where Harold Perkins is not on that field, down in and down out. But as the season goes, I think, we talked about it with Emory Jones. There's no way he finished the season not a starter. I think the same goes for Harold. He's got to be on that field, down in and down out, and I can't wait to see that because I just know he's going to go out there and make plays.
I I'll laugh at Brandon Taylor and Marlon Favorite, and I'll probably laugh at him tomorrow because their eyes light up for these games. I mean, of course, everyone's eyes light up for Alabama or Florida or whoever it may be, but Fave loves these stat game, and I think that's the coaches certainly don't coach it that way, but the players feel it.
Yeah, no, they do. I remember my last year we were playing Furman, and I had one of the most laughable touchdowns ever. It's like a 55-yard touchdown, and I literally just like danced around like 5 people and like walking to the end zone. I'm like, dude, I would never be able to do this against an SEC team. Like, this is just terrible right now. What's going on? These kids are scared to tackle. It's just bad, man. These kids are probably going to be, working in a lawn somewhere, doing insurance or somewhere. No offense on it, but
hey, look, I'm retired. It was a good run.
That's just what it is with some of these schools. So yeah, I think this week, to me, I want to pad Goodwin stats. I want to pad Emory stat, get those guys going in the run game, and obviously the receivers, they should eat too. So yeah, this is a big time week to get that stuff done.
You know who's probably going to be the most focused person inside Tiger Stadium on tomorrow? I think that is probably going to be and then the blanks. Who's what? Poley, Brian. Coach
Brian, yeah.
Brian Poley. I mean, that guy is going to be razor sharp in pregame because they can't have one mess up on special teams tomorrow. Absolutely. No chance for a mess up tomorrow on special teams. You have to come out and play a perfect game after what you just watched 7 days before.
Yeah, I mean, that's the talk of the town right now. And I think we all know how important special teams is. And when you got good special teams, you kind of don't talk about it. It's like a great long snapper. Like, who cares about the great long snapper?
The Bengals.
yeah, until they snap it over someone's head or snaps it in the dirt. So you got to get that stuff fixed. I think we know how important it is. I think this is a great week where you're not playing an SEC team where, those guys are going to have real athletes on all 3 phases of special teams. You can kind of say, hey, let's figure this stuff out. Let's get the order of operations down together. Let's kind of, figure out which guys are in spots, and let's just have a solid game of special teams in all 3 phases. And so I think that's something I would keep my close eye on. That's probably my biggest concern, even more than the offense and the defense. I want to see, them shore up the special teams, because if you don't, it's going to be a long, long season.
It surely is. Got to get that stuff cleaned up for tomorrow before you head to the road for Auburn. 104.5 ESPN and Acura of Baton Rouge ask for your support in helping raise money for Folds of Honor. Folds of Honor is a nonprofit organization that provides families of fallen or disabled service members educational scholarships. To donate to this very important cause, go to the website, 1045ESPN.com. This week, everyone who donates is going to be entered to win tickets to C38 Special, October the 28th at the Raising Cane's River Center. So go to 1045ESPN.com. Donate now. Special thanks to Acura of Baton Rouge from right here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. When we come back, we'll shift gears a little bit. I'll try to tell you something you may not know about every NFL game on the weekend, and Jeremy will pick them at Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice?
In the prep football season, and we get started at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and St. Thomas More kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our SEC picks against the number coming up at 2 o'clock. I am 18-9 on the year against the spread. Jeremy 15-12. Gotta listen. Pay the bills around here. The first week of NFL games was awesome. Last week's not a great slate in terms of matchups. This weekend is good. 13 games we'll go through right now, and only 3 of them in tiers 3 or 4, which is the trash. It is a lot of good football this weekend. We'll start with the trash in tier 4. Texans at Bears. No thank you. Look, the Texans have been outscored 27-0 in the fourth quarter this year. And Justin Fields, 29% of his passes have been off target this year. That is the most in the NFL. They might not have the answer in Chicago. You got Texans at Bears.
Yeah, that's just not a great. I don't know how much talk about great QB play. I don't think you're going to find it in that football game. And I think for a lot of Bears fans, they want Justin Fields to be great. Some people they want to pull for him. Then you got people on the other side like, get this guy out of here. And that's no place as a fan you want to be. You'd have no idea what your future at the quarterback position is going to be. So in that game, I'm going to go with Davis Mills, man. I'll go with Davis.
Other bad one in tier 4, Falcons at the Seahawks. Falcons are 0-2 for the third straight year. Seattle has the worst run game in the NFL, 56 yards per game. Falcons are probably a little bit better than we thought. They've played well the first 2 weeks and lost, pretty well considering what we thought they would be. Think they can go to the Great Northwest and win?
Ooh, yeah, man, they're a tricky team. You know what? I'll believe in them. I'll believe in the old Mariota. I'll go with them. I'll take the Falcons there.
Jags at the Chargers. This is the lone game in Tier 3. The Jags have lost 18 straight on the road.
I saw a funny stat, actually, about this. I think Trevor Lawrence is 0-9 in his first road games.
Yep, of course.
This would be...
They've lost 18 in a row on the road.
And then Also, another quarterback from the state of Louisiana, Peyton Manning, started off his career 0-9 in his first road games.
So two Super Bowls coming right up for Trevor?
Both are playing the Chargers. Peyton won his 10th game on the road against the Chargers. No, I'm taking the Chargers.
That'll dash my survivor dreams. The Jags go across the country and win that football game. The rest of them in tiers 2 and 1. We'll go to tier 2 here. Raiders are at the Titans. Last week, Devontae Adams had 2 catches for 12 yards. That is not generally what his stat line used to read with Aaron Rodgers under center or in the shotgun most of the time. These teams are 0-2. Somebody's got to get on track. Raiders at the Titans. Who you like?
Yeah, you already know what I feel about this guy at quarterback. So I got to go with the Raiders. There's just nothing that gets me going for Tannehill, the former wideout. And I just think they don't have the weapons on the outside. You saw Leonard Fournette, see some stack boxes. Every defensive coordinator with half a brain is going to stuff that box against Derrick Henry and not let him beat them. So, yeah, I'm going to fade Tannehill till perpetuity.
Look, this one, I'm probably just still clinging to hope on the Colts here a little bit, even though they're winless. The Chiefs at the Colts I've got in tier 2. Michael Pittman comes back for the Colts in this game. Patrick Mahomes, incidentally, is 414 yards away from being the fastest ever to 20,000 yards.
Wait. Man.
Chiefs at the Colts. What do you got?
I wanna think. I just can't get behind Matty Ice, man. I just can't. I'm thinking Jonathan Taylor can get it going, but I can't get behind that. I think the Chiefs roll them.
All right, there you go. Lions at the Vikings. I would not have had this one in tier 2 as of a couple weeks ago, but the Lions are America's team. They love Hard Knocks. They love Dan Campbell. Everybody loves him. DeAndre Swift is running for 7.2 yards per carry, and Amon-Ra St. Brown could be the first player in NFL history to have 8 catches in 9 straight games. He makes 8 catches against the Vikings tomorrow. Vikings a little bit on the rebound here after an impressive week 1. Who you got Lions at the Vikings?
Yeah, Lions are actually playing a lot better than you know people gave them credit for. You know, they got Aiden. He's rushing the passer well. He's top in the league in sacks right now, which is obviously that's what you want to get when you take a guy top 2 overall. And so it's just I can't take the Lions, man. I'm not there yet.
He's not a believer in America's team.
Yeah, I can't.
Dan Campbell's going to bite your kneecaps.
I can't take
against him again.
Yeah, I can't take the Lions.
All right, staying in tier 2, the Ravens are at the Patriots. Lamar passed Michael Vick for the most 100-yard run games as a quarterback with 11 last week. Is he going to dice up old Bill Belichick this weekend?
Yeah, man. Bill singing the praises of Lamar, man. And I know there was a lot of things that people thought, the Patriots may take a run at him when Tom was kind of older. Maybe they look at Lamar. Probably wouldn't have been the worst decision if they did that. And instead, they went with some other guy, Stiddy in the crew. But
Jared Still.
So I'm going to go with Lamar. I think I just don't love Mac Jones in that offense. I know they got a big win last week, but I think, the way the Ravens lost that game last week, I think you got to see them come out locked in, focused, and winning that football game.
Somebody tell the Bengals to show up in the first half. They are minus 25 points in the first half through 2 weeks. The offensive line stinks still. Get it together. They're playing the Jets. Surely they're not going to lose again.
Yeah, no, I got to continue to ride Joey B. I mean, I picked them to win the AFC, so I kind of
How's that looking?
Not great, but hey, I believe in Joe. He'll battle. He won't quit. He won't lay down and quit. So I got to stick with him. This is an opportunity to get some momentum, get back going in the right direction. And as it gets a Jets team led by Joe Flacco, if Joey B loses to money-making Mitch, Gordy Cousins-Cooper, and then the immortal Joe Flacco.
Bro Flacco.
Oh man, I'm gonna be some sad times in Cincinnati. So yeah, I gotta roll with the Bengals here.
Let's go Bengals, get it together. The Eagles are at Washington. Washington has the worst run defense in the league through 2 weeks, 7.5 yards per carry. Not great with Jalen Hurts and the squad showing up.
Not the squad you want to go against. And seeing the Eagles make shrines for Nick Foles and not really have the most love for Carson Wentz, I think that D-line may have a little extra motivation this week to get to the quarterback. So it's going to be a tough one for Carson, just not ever get back to that MVP place. I think it's kind of been a huge shocker for a lot of people. Anytime you're having an MVP-type season, you normally don't fall to the depths that Carson's fell to. So I think this is a great spot for the Eagles to get that run game going and beat the Commanders.
Eagles fans being happy is not the content I need. Like, it's great for them, but I want them to be ticked off and throwing batteries at people and screaming, getting drunk. Like, that's the Eagles content that I want on the internet. Them crushing everybody is not nearly as much fun. I want the mad Philly fans, so we'll see how that goes. Tier 2, the last one. Rams are at the Cardinals. Sean McVay, 10-1 against the Cardinals, absolutely owns them. And look at this stat. The Cardinals have lost 6 home games in a row. We think of that as being a pretty good team the last couple of years. 6 home losses in a row stinks.
Yeah, that's not very good. And it's kind of the theme for Kyler, obviously probably the smallest quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, he is the smallest quarterback. He's the smallest quarterback in the NFL. So when you take the hits that quarterbacks do and you kind of tally that up for 6, 7, 8 weeks and you're getting hit by these 320-pound, 30-pound linemen, it just adds up. So you can see kind of why that record is that way. So I'm going to take the other team here. I just don't see the Cardinals doing it. I just started out good, but I just got to see more from Cliff Kingsbury in the crowd.
Yeah, he may not have a job much more longer. That's nice talking. Much longer if things don't straighten out here in a hurry. Tier 1, best football of the weekend for me. Bills at the Dolphins. Huge one in the NFC East. The Bills have won 7 straight over Miami. Big matchup on the edge there. Taron Armstead, they put a lot of money into him. He gets Von Miller for 3 hours on Sunday.
Yeah, but if I'm the Bills, I don't even mess with that. Put him on the other side. Pull up Micah Parsons and put him on the other side with the guy. I don't even know who the other right tackle is. Put him on that.
I can't help you with the Dolphins right tackle. That's out of my depth.
Yeah, put him on the other side. But to me, this is going to be a huge test for Tua. These are the games where quarterbacks make their names. This is where you make your legend in the NFL. If you can go win this game for Tua, talk about getting momentum for this Dolphins organization and people believing in what he can be for the future of this team. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Bills here. I just have to see a lot more from the Dolphins. I know they got 2 of the fastest receivers in football, but the Bills, man, that's a juggernaut right now. That team, that they're so balanced from top to bottom, and they have one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. So I'm going to go with the Bills here.
I'm looking on FanDuel to see what the number is on that game because the Bills are such a public team. They're trying any way they can to get money on the other side. 5.5, the Bills are favored over there in Miami. Man, that doesn't seem like a lot. I know in the NFL on the road, I get it. The Dolphins have played a little bit better, but it seems like if they're trying to get money on the Dolphins, they would crank that line up a little bit more. We'll see what that does until kickoff. Tier 1, best games of the weekend, Packers at the Bucks. Bucks lead the NFL 10 sacks. Of course, they got 6 on Sunday against the Saints. This game features, obviously, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, 7 MVPs combined, most ever in a game between the 2 starting quarterbacks. 2 of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, normally when you think about these 2 quarterbacks, playing in a football game, you think there's going to be touchdowns and points out the wazoo, but this seems like a game where you just want to hammer the under. Not the greatest receivers for Aaron on the outside, and obviously Tom's in the exact same situation, and both of these defenses are really, really talented. And so you saw kind of, the Packers kind of have a little trouble with the Vikings. You got Justin Jefferson. The Bucs won't have that guy this week. They're just totally depleted at receiver. So I see this being a really kind of ugly football game. Kind of like you saw against the Saints with the Bucs. It's going to be a lot of defense, and I'm going to take Tom because they're at home. I think he's got to find a way to win this football game. I think they have to get Leonard going. If they can do that, I think that creates the best avenue for the Bucs to win.
41.5 is the over-under in that game. 49ers and Broncos, last one in Tier 1. Like this matchup a lot. It'll be the Sunday night game. The Broncos have 25 penalties in 2 games, the most in team history and the most ever through 2 games in NFL history. Look, it's Jimmy Garoppolo's team now for San Francisco, so see if they can go on the road and get to Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, and anytime you get a new head coach, these are the least things you want to see. You don't want to see all these issues. You don't want to see him do what they did week 1. That's just, to me, that's still unforgivable, what they did week 1. So I'm going to go with my NFC pick. I picked the Niners to come, out of the NFC, so I'm going to ride with those guys, and I think for Russell, there's a lot of stuff they got to get figured out. I mean, they struggled with the Texans last week. You figure that should never happen with the team that was getting hyped up like they were this offseason. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with the Niners here.
That is your look at the NFL slate. Looking in the Bayou Ford chat, LSU Sports Fanatic says, damn, Hunt, your neck's getting fat, son. That is very true, and I'm having some blood work done in like 10 days. When my wife gets the results on those things, it's going to be lights out for me. I mean, I'm going to be not eating nothing but lettuce for the next 4 years based on what the readings say. We'll see what we can do over the next couple of months. But that is correct. In fact, that is an astute observation. My neck is, in fact, very, very fat. We'll come back and close out the hour. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, celebrating and elevating champions of Louisiana. This month we'll tell you about Metamore.
Yeah, Metamore, an institute dedicated to the study and treatment of metabolic disease and obesity, has been celebrated by LWCC as a champion of Louisiana. Located in Baton Rouge on the campus of Pennington Biomedical, Metamore is a one-of-a-kind facility joining science, clinical research, and variety of treatment modalities under a single roof to create a world-class institute.
That's timing in radio there. We talk about how fat my neck is, and we go to Metamore and helping people out with obesity. Over 6,200 patients were treated by Metamore in 2020 that drastically improved their health outcomes. It started as something right here in Louisiana. It's gone worldwide. The great work they're doing over there at Metamore. This month, we're celebrating them all month long as a champion of Louisiana. If you know a champion of Louisiana and you know someone that's doing great work here in our great state, go to LWCC/Louisiana Loyal and nominate them to be a champion of Louisiana like Metamore. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice.
Join us for the next edition of Handy Time. The Monday show started at 11 o'clock. It includes the Brian Kelly press conference. Then wrap that up before we send it to Hunt and Hill. Handy Time, 11 a.m. on Mondays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Saints and Panthers at noon on Sunday from Charlotte. Busy weekend in Charlotte with the Panthers in town. President's Cup right across the street there at Quail Hollow. We'll talk with Ellis Williams at 2:15 about Saints and Panthers, but a couple quick thoughts from us here. I think Paulson Adebo comes back. That makes the Saints secondary whole, which should make them a pretty formidable bunch against the Carolina passing game that's not great and hasn't been great for a few years.
Yeah, and I think the best avenue for the Panthers, they do have two receivers that, you got to, pay a little attention to. But I think anytime you can match up Marshawn Lattimore on DJ Moore, you feel really great about that matchup. And then obviously they got Robbie Anderson as their other big-time receiver. So you feel like you match up well with those guys. And anytime you match up, on the outside with the receivers, it opens up the world for Dylan Allen. Now he can pretty much do whatever he wants on the inside. He can put Tyre in the box, he can move things around, let the D-line get after Baker. And so, yeah, I think getting him back in the secondary is going to be huge for the Saints defense, who I think have actually played well. Had some issues against the run against the Falcons, but, the way they played last week, I think that's something they can do week in and week out, and it's a great opponent to do it against this week.
You know what can help Jameis's back out?
Run the ball.
Give the ball to Alvin Kamara. Exactly. That is exactly right. I would get the ball in Alvin Kamara's hands early and often in this game, assuming he's not significantly hampered, which at this point I don't think that he is. But I'll be watching Jameis really close now. I mean, because what we saw in the Dome, obviously it's better viewing to watch it on TV. I was in the Dome last week, but it did not look good, and it didn't look good from a health standpoint, and it did not look good from a decision-making standpoint and accuracy standpoint. So, he did take some good shots down the field to Olave, and he couldn't connect on any of them, but he'll have a microscope on him now for his play and his health at this point.
Yeah, it is. I think that's going to be the first thing every Saints fan looks at when they watch this football game is, I think the people on either side of the fence, so James, like I said, kind of like the Justin Fields situation. It's like, it's kind of not where you want to be with your starting quarterback. And it's like some people really love him, some people really hate him and want the red rifle in there. But so I think Jameis, it's going to be a big spot for him to kind of get this thing going in the right direction. Like, you just feel worlds better when you're 2-1 going into week 4 rather than you're 1-2. It's just you never want to have a losing record. And so I'm going to be paying close attention to how he throws the ball. I think last week he just had a hitch. Just looked like he was in so much pain. And you never want to see your quarterback out there playing like way. So hopefully Jameis can heal up a little bit here, play a lot better. And I think, number one, just don't turn the football over. Like, this defense can back you. You can win the game with a run game defense. Take it back to the 80s. You can do that against an opponent like this. So don't put the ball in harm's way. And I think that's going to be the best avenue for the Saints to win.
The old Saban adage, if we end every drive with a kick, we've done our job. It's either an extra point, a field goal, or a punt. If a kicker comes out on the field, we've done a job. It means not turning the football over. And Jameis certainly did too much of that in the game last weekend and wasted another really, really good effort by that Saints defense. How big is this game for the Saints? I think those of us that are college football centered, like, we tend to put too much emphasis on games. You got a lot of games ahead, but this is a lesser team in the NFL, one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL. You never put a road win in your back pocket. Certainly we saw what happened when they went to Carolina last year at this point in the calendar. But how big for the Saints on Sunday?
Look, it's always big when it's a division game. You only get so many division games a season. You only get 6 of them, and anytime you can get a leg up on one of your divisional opponents, it only helps you get that home playoff game. And so anytime, I know it's a 32nd ranked team in the NFL right now, it's a division game. So you want to win as many division games as possible. And for the Saints, unfortunately, they've already lost a division game. So the last thing you want to do is start the season out. You lose your first 2 division games. That's just a bad spot. So for that reason, not the opponent, but the division, it is a big-time game for the Saints.
William Ivy's in the Bayou Ford chat says, Winston's an easy fix. Sit him down and start Andy Dalton. You remember the reaction that was garnered in Chicago when they drafted Justin Fields and signed Andy Dalton and said he was QB1?
QB1.
And now the thing that I did not expect to see from the Saints 2 weeks in is everybody saying, hey, put Dalton in. Like, that is not where I thought we would be before we got to the end of September.
Look, I don't care who's in there. If they're not a proven skin-on-the-wall guy, they throw 3 picks. Saints fans, once they get those beers in them, once they get to typing on Twitter, it's not going to be great for whoever they're court. I mean, I remember Saints Twitter last year with Ian Book in the game. That wasn't great either. That's another level. I was in
the hospital for that with Myers, and that was something to behold.
Yeah, that's another level.
Was it the first pass he threw a pick 6? No, it wasn't the first pass. It was just
early.
It was early, and it was in the first quarter. And like, oh,
yeah, it's bad. And so anytime you have to watch bad quarterback play as a fan, it's just brutal. So anyone's saying they want the other guy in there until he starts messing up, then they're gonna say, go sign some guy, go get a guy off the street. So I think every fan base is desperate to have a quarterback they can believe in, wear their jersey to the game, and know their team's gonna have a great chance to win. I think that's why some Saints fans are shaky, like my boy William here. Jameis just has to not turn it over. I think if he can just do that, no, it's a hard task for him, but if he can just do that, I think, this Saints team can find a way to win football games.
We'll give you our Saints pick at the end of the show with our LSU New Mexico pick as well. I want to remind you, our Football Fridays here are live and local all day long. Start off with OTB from 7 to 10 in the morning. At 10 o'clock, they go to Ruffino's for Jimmy Ott's Game Time, 10 to noon. Hanny's in for that. Then they flip the script there, and Jimmy sits in with Hanny for an hour over there at Ruffino's for Hanny Time. We jump aboard at 1 o'clock, take you from 1 to 3. Matt in his traditional spot, AFR, from 3 to 6. Then we got Louisiana Prep Preview with Cade Wassan and his cast of thousands. They'll turn it over to Catholic High tonight. Catholic and STM fighting Walker Howard's, fighting Jack Besh's. We'll be doing battle at 7 o'clock. We'll have that call for you here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. And after the conclusion of that game, we'll have Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade and his cast of thousands again as they recap the high school action that goes around in the state of Louisiana. They'll take you to about midnight, I guess, is when they kind of close the door on that one on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. So live and local on Fridays from 7 a.m. to about midnight. And then we crank things back up tomorrow at 1:30 with Eagle 98.1 Game Day. That's simulcast right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. That's, of course, Charles Handegriff and Matt Musso from Rouse's over there on Burbank. Fast-moving first hour here on Hunt and Hill. Spent the first 30 minutes talking about LSU and New Mexico. Hit the NFL slate at 1:30, a little Saints-Panthers talk right there. If you missed any of it, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you can take your audio. We got it for you right there on demand. Just search Hunt and Hill. Loaded hour number 2. Ellis Williams from the Charlotte Observer will be with us at 2:15. Got to take it or leave it in the middle of the hour. Our final pick coming up. But when we come back, big weekend of the SEC. We're making you some money with our picks. It'll be Sports Center, and then we're back on a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Dad!
Kids have staked out their place at Auctioner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well.
Yes!
It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Auctioner Health Center for Children.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Celtics owner Wyc Grousbeck says today the team hired a law firm to investigate now suspended head coach Ime Udoka. Grousbeck wouldn't comment on what it would take for Udoka to rejoin the organization. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Udoka had a consensual relationship with a female team staffer. The Yankees have now clinched a playoff spot, but Aaron Judge is still one home run behind Roger Maris's American League record. And with the Yankees playing at home this weekend, veteran broadcaster Bob Costas says it would be fitting for the record to be broken there.
If it happens in the Bronx, then you have the echoes of history. It isn't just the American League record. Since the lively ball era and since Babe Ruth virtually invented the home run, that record has always been held by a Yankee. It was always Ruth, and then it was Maris.
Bob Costas on Greeny. ESPN Radio will have live coverage of Judge's at-bats tonight starting at 6:30 Eastern during our coverage of the Braves and Phillies. Browns linebacker Anthony Walker will have season-ending surgery for a torn left quad.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2, Football Friday here, Hunt and Hill. Hope your week has gone great. Hope your week at the office is winding down. About to be a fun-filled weekend full of football. We'll be talking about a lot of it here in hour number 2. Our picks on the Saints game and the LSU game coming up at the end of the show. Ellis Williams of the Charlotte Observer will be with us in 15 minutes talking Saints and Panthers. He covers the Panthers for the Charlotte Observer. But first, we got to get to our SEC picks. We're making you some cash. I'm 18-9 against the number on the year. Jeremy 15-12. We'll see what the doctor has in order for this weekend. We'll start with Kent State at Georgia. The Dogs look like the best team in the country to me. They are laying 45 points in this one. Look, Kent State lost to Washington and Oklahoma by a total score of 78-20. Georgia is winning on the season 130-10. So that's why the number is 45. Who you got in this one, sir?
They may get that in the first half. I'm going to be Georgia. Like, this is going to be ugly. It seems like a little light on. Oh, I guess they played Oregon. Never mind. And they just rolled them. So it seems like they didn't play anybody. Yeah,
I mean, that's not that bad on the road at South Carolina and Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not, you think it's they're playing nobody. That's how they're badly beating everyone. So, yeah, I think this is just bad news bears for the Kent State. Yeah, I don't even know their mascot.
The Golden Flashes, the Fighting Nick Saban, his alma mater. So we both on Georgia on that one. Missouri is headed to the Plains of Auburn. Is this a buyout bowl here? We talking about firing whoever loses this game? Not looking great. 7 is the number. Auburn is laying 7 against Missouri. Got T.J. Finley's dad going on a podcast saying the coaches aren't doing the right stuff. It's not great on the podcast.
Not great at all. That's the last thing you want to be seeing. Just because they're at home, and I don't even know if they're going to get Tank basically the ball, but I'm going to go with Auburn at home. Hopefully they get the run game going so they can cover their spread, but I just think Missouri is just so bad. If Auburn loses to Missouri, they need to fire Harsin right now.
They may. They very well may. Call the yellow fella, Mr. Yellowwood. He'll cut the check. Get on down the road. Find somebody else. Yeah, I got Auburn as well. They're at home. I can't. I'll just lay the number. Just run the football. That's all I got to say about that. Bowling Green is at Mississippi State. Bowling Green hung with UCLA for a half. They beat Marshall last week. We know that Marshall beat Notre Dame. So not an awful team, but 30.5 is a big number for Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's a healthy number, but I'll take them coming off a loss. I think anytime you're coming off a loss, especially on the road, and you kind of have a lesser opponent, I think they want to get that offense rolling. Rodgers, I think that's probably one of the worst games I've seen him play in SEC play. Just, no, take that back. Probably not the worst, but just not a great game for their offense. So I'm going to take Mississippi State to cover the 31.
I've got Bowling Green in this one. I'll try to stay within the number. Hopefully Bowling Green can run the football a little bit, maybe make a couple of tackles inbounds, get that clock rolling, get a touchdown or two here or there. I'll take the 30.5 and get on down the road. The big one in Neyland, game day will be there. Rocky Top's going to be on fire tomorrow. That'll be the best atmosphere in that stadium in years as Florida comes to town. 10.5-point favorites are the Vols. Do you trust the hype train, Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker, to get it done? I mentioned this a couple of times this week, but look, Tennessee has lost 15 in a row against Alabama. They've lost 16 of 17 to Florida, and they've lost 13 of 14 to Georgia. The three teams they're supposed to beat, they never beat. Does that change tomorrow?
Whew. I don't want to push Nate Pierce, so give me the hype train. I'm going with Tennessee. I'll take the 10.5. I think, to me, if I would have just seen a little bit more consistency from Anthony Richardson in those next two games, I would have took the 10 points here. But I just don't like the way he's playing quarterback right now. And I think in that hostile environment, that place, look, they may throw some stuff. And, they're known for throwing some stuff at people. They may
golf balls, mustard bottles.
Yeah, so that place is going to be just absolutely insane for this game. So I'm going to take Hendon Hooker. I think he's just playing phenomenal football right now, and that offense is just rolling. He got some weapons on the outside. So, yeah, give me Tennessee in the 10.5.
I would lay 20 with the Vols here. I think that place is going to be on fire tomorrow. Yeah. I think Tennessee's going to come out throwing the football, and I think Florida's not going to know what hit them. And this is going to be one of those just exercise the demons moments for Tennessee. I think they run the score up. I think they smoke Florida on Rocky Top tomorrow. Tennessee River may be set on fire after this thing goes final. I think Tennessee rolls in the game tomorrow. Tough to say because the Vols have not been great for 15 years, but I think they've got it figured out, and Florida does not this year. Tulsa is at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin says that they need a little bit better fan attendance and participation. Kind of got on his folks there this week. 21.5 is the number. Tulsa's quarterback, Davis Brin, he's averaging 400 yards a game, throwing for 11 touchdowns already this year. 21.5 is the number. What do you think?
Yeah, this is why I like Lane, man. He's not scared to speak his mind. Last year, he's giving the fans popcorn. I don't know what he's going to throw out this year, but to me, they got to give the ball to Evans. They got to feed that guy. Don't love the quarterback play, but kind of thing, the bad rap that my man Lane gets is, he's going to pass it every down. He's going to go for it every fourth down. No, he's going to do what it takes to win football games. And for this Ole Miss team, that's got to run the ball. So 21's very healthy.
21.5.
It's healthy.
On that pressure point.
It's healthy, but I'll take it because they're at home. I think they're going to get the run game going, and I just don't love that Tulsa offense. So, yeah, I'll take the 21.5.
I like Ole Miss to keep scoring in the second half, and that'll get there. That'll cover the number. The defense played better last week. Shut out Georgia Tech, which is a serious indictment on that Georgia Tech offense. Northern Illinois at Kentucky. Northern Illinois gave up 38 points to Vanderbilt last week. The number on this one is 26.5 at the big grocery store, Kroger Field.
The coffee and mayo, man. I'll take Kentucky here. Just don't love Northern Illinois. I think I picked someone earlier this year that played Northern.
Vanderbilt.
Yes, that's who it was. Yeah, that's who it was.
They gave up 38 points to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and they just totally wrecked my pick. So yeah, give me Kentucky here. Not loving the Illinois. Once I get burned, it's just like I'm like an X, man. It just burns my soul forever. So yeah, give me Kentucky.
This has got like 48-10 written all over it to me. I'm going to lay the points with Kentucky as well. Just hemorrhaging points over here. We are laying them by the truckload. Maybe the biggest game outside of Knoxville, maybe bigger than the game in Knoxville, quite honestly, is the game in Jerry World. Look, Arkansas and A&M, you want to guess what that spread is without looking?
Arkansas, A&M, I know exactly. Look, you can look at my computer. I know exactly what is going on right here. Texas A&M is most likely favored in this game.
They are. By 2.
Oh, my goodness. What is the world coming to?
I think you're going to be calling the Hogs here shortly.
Of course I'm taking the Hogs. Like, you're giving me points? Like, what are we
I'm giving you 2.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll be quite honest.
Look, I don't know what it is. What did Jimbo do to the national? Now you got Vegas backing him. You got the national media backing him. Dude, I just look. It's fascinating. But hey, make them favorite. Yeah, go ahead, make them favorite. They're gonna rush for 200 on y'all. I hope.
And that's
so.
the deal. Both Miami running backs last week ran for 5 yards per carry. They stalled in the red zone a little bit. They couldn't score touchdowns. They kicked some field goals. Van Dyke wasn't very good, but they ran the football on them. And then Arkansas is coming to town. That's all they're going to do is run the football with Rocket Sanders. Now, A&M's defense is pretty good, I think. But look, App State ran it enough to hold the ball for 40 minutes, and Miami was effective when they tried to run it. Look, I have been very public. I think a lot of A&M's issues were on Haynes King, and I think Max Johnson is a much better player. How good, it remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they're favored. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm taking Arkansas as well. We might come back here and say you guys are huge suckers at the end of this thing, but that one doesn't make sense. You want to talk Jimmy out, Roto-Rooter stinky line of the week? That to me,
and it's a neutral site game.
Arkansas has played well. They've got a veteran quarterback. They just beat them last year. Whatever. I don't get it. Vandy is at Bama.
The Doors.
Here come the Doors anchoring down. This brings back a great memory. When they launched the SEC network, they had like a representative from every school. Of course, James Carville was the LSU guy, and it had somebody for every school. And one of the guys from one of the news networks, a news anchor, I can't remember his name, but he was the Vanderbilt rep. And they were talking about like great moments. And you go to LSU and they're talking about beating Florida in '97, winning national championships, Warren Morris, and all that stuff. They asked the Vanderbilt guy, and he was like, oh, let me tell you this incredible story. We were playing Bama, and we were down like 30 points. And we had to punt on 4th down, and they snapped it to the punter. And his name was, let's see if it would come to me, Marin Angel. Something Marin Angel. It's been years since I saw it. And they snapped to our punter named Steve Marin Angel, and he took off running up the middle of the field. He went 80 yards for a touchdown against Alabama. It was legendary. Their favorite moment in Vandy history was the punter running 80 yards in a game they were down 30 in. That was and so now little bit of reliving that for the Doors. They had to Bama as a 40-point underdog, 40.5.
That's all?
Yep.
That's all. Give me the 40. I would take the 50 ball here. I know I had the Doors ranked a little high. Give them some little juice this week. I got a little troll to A&M, but still, it's the Doors. They're going to get rolled, man. It's going to get ugly real fast there. Yeah, give me Bama.
We'll take Bama as well. We are basically in lockstep on this week's pick. I think we've been opposite on one game. Charlotte at South Carolina rounds out the slate. South Carolina coming off a couple of tough ones. They lost at Arkansas, went up and then hosted Georgia and got absolutely thumped. They'll play Charlotte. 22.5 is the number on this one. You going to roll with Beamer's boys in a bounce back spot here?
Oh, man. Spencer Rattler terrifies me. It's Charlotte, though.
The 49ers.
Can he find a way to throw 3 interceptions against Charlotte? Give me Beamer ball. You said they didn't give up. I'll trust you, Shane. You said your team didn't give up on you. So, unfortunately, I'm going to take the game Cubs.
All right, you're locked in there. I haven't told you this. Charlotte's defense gave up 43 to Florida Atlantic, 41 to William and Mary. That's only 2 people. They gave up 41 points in that game. They gave up 56 to Maryland and 41 to Georgia State. Their defense bites. I think that South Carolina is probably going to cover this number, but I'm going to take Charlotte anyway. I gave you all that, and I'll take Charlotte because everything would lean towards me taking South Carolina. I'm off South Carolina. I bet them the last 2 weeks in this thing. They didn't cover either time. I'm off South Carolina. Give me the Charlotte 49ers. But Charlotte's defense, not good. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we will chat with Ellis Williams of the Charlotte Observer, talking a little bit about the Carolina Panthers as they match up with the Saints on Sunday. Don't go anywhere. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford. Check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. They got your new, they got your used. I've been an Explorer guy my driving years. I've had 3 of them. I love them all. You want to check out what they've got on the lot, you can online. And if they don't have exactly what you want, they'll customize a vehicle for you, exactly what you want to the T. And they can turn that around in just 60 to 90 days. And when it comes in, they'll have a driver drive it right to your front door, hand you the keys, easy as that. And every new purchase over at Bayou Ford comes with a 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty.
Yeah, and check out BayouFord.com for the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline. Has a Ready Lift 3 kit on there, and also all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
Gotta love our friends over there at Bayou Ford. Check out the inventory at BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, what they're going to do right by you.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Saints and Panthers noon kickoff up in Charlotte, where we'll head now via the phone lines. Ellis Williams covers the Panthers for the Charlotte Observer. Ellis, thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a hit to do with Chris Ross Logvo last night that I completely missed. So if he's listening for any reason, apologies to him, and I'm glad I didn't miss your guys's. I'm trying to make up for it here somehow to you guys.
We're very glad you didn't miss. First, a little bit of a selfish question here. I'm a big golf fan. I got the President's Cup on in here. I know it's in Charlotte. Little buzz around Charlotte for that. Do you have any President's Cup assignments, being that you're with that paper?
Well, I'll tell you what, the paper's popping. Everybody but me's out there because I'm here grinding this Panthers beat. But no, the city's excited, and it sounds like it's beautiful out there.
That is awesome to hear. Not as much excitement, I would imagine, around the Carolina Panthers, who currently hold the longest winning streak in the NFL. What kind of ground is Matt Rule on right now?
Let's say shaky.
Yeah.
To complete your setup there. But the reality is this: like, yeah, they have a active 9-game losing streak dating back to last year. 1 in 25 in games where the Panthers or the opponent scores more than 17 points. All that narrative and stats and all of that stuff is out there, right? Like, it's beautiful how we can make stats say whatever we want them to say when we want them to say it, right?
Sure.
What I'm trying to tell y'all is that, and I think people in New Orleans get this considering everything y'all have been through, like, each season is an individual experience, right? People in that building, when the new year starts, in, around the draft, into mini camp, and then definitely training camp, nothing else matters. Like, this is a completely new experience. There's new coaches, there's new players every year. There's a long way of saying that this team considers itself 0-2. They don't consider themselves 0-9.
Sure.
Now, the narratives start to drip in if this turns into 0-3, but we're not quite there yet, and I'm sure you have some more questions about if that's going to happen.
Sure, we're going to get all into it. You mentioned new players. One of those new players is Baker Mayfield. What's the reception been from his teammates, and how do you assess his play through 2 weeks?
Yeah, look, the team has rallied behind Baker Mayfield. He is a captivating leader, somebody who knows how to pick his spots. It took him some time to get used to this team, as it would it being in any new situation for anybody starting a new job, let's put it that way. His play on the field has been inconsistent in the terms of there's been flashes and then there's been concerns, most notably with his footwork, which is not a indictment on anything he was doing this offseason. It's just the reality of how late he got to Carolina, right? NFL offenses are built where the quarterback's feet need to be married to the scheme, which takes familiarity, and he does not have that with Ben McAdoo and this offense yet, just because of the timetable. Assuming that gets corrected in the next few weeks, I anticipate a sharper, more crisp Panthers offense, which could start as soon as this week. Unfortunately for Carolina, that Saints defense is pretty stout, I've heard, right?
Yeah, so for Christian McCaffrey, obviously he seems pretty annoyed with all the attention he's getting with any little injury that or may have or being on the injury report. Where would you say his frustration level is right now, and where do you say his health is at this point in the season?
I think he's quite healthy. I would float him around 90 to 92, 93%. With Christian, it's just so much about how comfortable he is, right? Like, he understands his skill set, and whenever there's something going on with his lower body, that raises just innate natural concern for him in the fact of wondering how that will show itself on the field. So when he reports of stiffness after the game last week, he takes his mandatory rest day on Wednesday and then still feels a little stiffness on Thursday. The team's just going to proceed with caution and hold him out Thursday. He was a full participant today, carries no game status for Sunday, and some fans don't know what that means when you say no game status. It just means he's not questionable, he's not doubtful, and he's not out, because they got rid of probable, right, years ago. So Christian McCaffrey's going to play. He's just fine. And perhaps he'll get the football a little more in the receiving game this week. We'll see.
I would imagine he certainly will. Chatting with Ellis Williams, who covers the Panthers as a beat writer for the Charlotte Observer up there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ellis, the Buccaneers were able to get after Jameis Winston for 6 sacks, force some bad decisions, some turnovers. The Panthers' defensive front is pretty athletic. How do you think they match up with the Saints' offensive line?
It's going to be a really fun matchup, right? And to add on to that, Jameis Winston's been sacked 10 times in the past 2 games, so that would mean 4 in week 1. I'm a words guy, not a math guy, but I'll give me that one.
You nailed that one.
Thank you. It's where Carolina's going to try to win this game, right? Force Jameis Winston into making the decisions that Jameis does and enhance those by creating pressure. The team is confident in its ability to do that, as they did it a year ago. And despite losing Hassan Reddick, it seems they are still creating consistent pressure, whether that's from Brian Burns or some guys deeper on the roster that we can get into if you'd like to. But the point is, whether by scheme or by just winning your matchups, they're successfully getting after the quarterback. And I anticipate that being the same plan on Sunday.
Obviously, when the Panthers went and got Baker Mayfield this offseason, they didn't probably have it in their mind that he would probably have the worst QBR in football. How valuable do you think it is when Sam Darnold gets back that he may get a chance to be the quarterback, or they probably give him some reps when he gets in the game?
I would be surprised if Sam Darnold returns and isn't anything more than the number 2 quarterback. Now, I say that with the understanding and the reality that that's one of the most important positions in football. We've already seen Dak Prescott and Trey Lance both miss substantial time, in Trey Lance's case, the season. And Matt Rule, going into this year, was very pointed about the stat of something like 17 quarterbacks last season played the entire schedule, meaning that the backup quarterback eventually plays in this league. So Sam needs to be ready. He needs to be healthy and be in a position where it's possible where he comes in. But it's Baker Mayfield's team. This is his locker room. The team understood that not only when they traded for him, but then when he won the job in training camp, because they needed to see it first, and they did.
He's Ellis Williams, covers the Panthers up there in Charlotte, North Carolina. What kind of environment do you expect on Sunday?
From a fan standpoint or on the field, or you just want me to
talk
about
like
everything?
a fan standpoint, energy standpoint, noise standpoint, all that?
Sure. So, I mean, we all know what this rivalry, these two teams getting together means. I think the Panthers fan base is in a conflicted point right now. It's been over a calendar year since they've seen a win, specifically at Bank of America Stadium. They haven't won since at home, since I'm pretty sure since they played the Saints last year at home.
It was week 2.
Exactly. So it's been a hot minute, right? That could mean one of two things. The fans are going to tailgate and then not show up to the game, and we'll see, or they're going to be in those stands eager to boo, right? But winning changes everything. I don't think it's going to have much influence what happens on the field, as this is a team used to, quite frankly, anything happening in the stands. And if you look at their record, they perform better on the road, point being they are good at negating whatever happens in the bowl around them and just letting what happens on the field happen, which still doesn't produce results. But this is a game that they feel positioned to win, considering the historic fact that they are ESPN had the stat, they're the first team to lose consecutive games by allowing a go-ahead field goal of 55-plus yards in the fourth quarter or overtime.
Obviously, no NFL team wants to start the season 0-3, but for both sides of the ball, offensive and defensively, what do you think the Panthers have to get done to get a victory over the Saints on Sunday?
Sustained drives, complete passes. I know that sounds extremely oversimplistic, but it really is the point. The Panthers are 28th in the NFL right now in plays per drive at just 4.9, 5 plays per drive. That's atrocious. They need to pick up third downs, which obviously if you're only averaging 5 plays per drive, you're not picking up third downs. They were 2 of 12 versus the Giants. That leads to completions, right? They need to be more efficient on first and second down passing in order to avoid third down altogether, or just avoid third and 8 and plus. So it's going to come down to, as I said, completions, early down efficiency, and then just assuming the defense continues what it did against New York, even though that Giants offense is completely different than what y'all are going to bring, being the New Orleans Saints and a downfield passing attack.
He is on Twitter at Book of Ellis. Ellis, thanks so much for your time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football on Sunday.
Awesome. Let's do this again next time. Take care, y'all.
Absolutely. He is Ellis Williams of the Charlotte Observer. Told you about this yesterday. I'm going to continue to tell you about it until the fundraiser on October 13th. But the Shed is doing an Allie Rice fundraiser. Allie Rice was a young lady tragically killed on Government Street last week. She was an employee of the Shed, and they're doing what they can to raise some funds. So the Shed's hosting an Allie Rice fundraiser Thursday, October the 13th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Tickets are $100. There's only 150 tickets available. 50% of those tickets are going to be donated to the fundraiser. The meal includes prime grilled steaks, smoked baked potatoes, asparagus salad. You get 2 drinks included with your purchase of wine, spirits, beer, seltzer, soft drinks. A portion of all the additional drinks sold are going to be donated toward the fund as well. So additional donations are welcome on top of the ticket purchase. Donations can be made directly to the Allie Rice Fund at any Citizens Bank and Trust located in Baton Rouge. So any Citizens Bank and Trust will take donations in memory of Allie Rice to go towards that fund. So we're thrilled to be able to help a little bit at this tragic time. The Shed doing what they can for the Allie Rice fundraiser. So I wanted to get that out there today as we move forward on a Football Friday. We've got Take It or Leave It coming up next, and we will pick the game to close out a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted.
Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Phil Steele will join us the right radio hours. We'll have our guest picker. Join us Friday 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Thanks to Ellis Williams of the Charlotte Observer for stopping by, talking a little bit of Panthers. We'll give our final pick for Saints, Panthers, and LSU and New Mexico at the end of the show. But for now, we'll slide it up 15 minutes for a little take it or leave it. Jeremy, fire away.
Alrighty, here. Super Bowl winning coach Sean Payton says he would be interested in returning to the NFL for the 2023 football season, just one season after retiring from being the Saints head coach. Are you taking or leaving? It should be signed, sealed, and delivered. Sean P., coaching Dak, coaching the Cowboys next season.
I'm going to take it. I think that is going to happen. And the Saints fans that I've talked to are like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get the draft picks because they still have him under contract and they have the rights to him. So if he moves to somewhere, they owe the Saints some sort of compensation. So somebody wants to fire the Saints some draft picks, maybe that they can use to trade up and get a quarterback, then the Saints will go ahead and take that. So I will take it. Sean P. is definitely going to coach next year, just a matter of where. And if you look around at the teams that are going to fire their coach, whether maybe he wants to go to Arizona to coach Kyler Murray. If that doesn't work out, looks like Carolina's going to be open. I doubt he's going to head there. We'll see. I think there are going to be some options for Sean Payton. There may be some people that move some things around just so they can get Sean Payton, if you know what I'm talking about. All right, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, says he would welcome a quarterback controversy for the Dallas Cowboys. That means that Cooper Rush is playing really well. He said that he'd walk to New York to get just that. Walking 1,500 miles to see the quarterback you just signed to a $160 million deal in a quarterback battle. Take it or leave it.
I'm leaving this. Like, I don't think Jerry walks to his mailbox. Like, he probably has a freaking golf cart. He doesn't do anything. He has a helicopter, a jet.
I've seen the jet. He flies to Destin all the time, and it's got the big star on the back of it. I've seen it.
$100 million boat. Like, Jerry's not walking anywhere. Jerry, I get it though. When you got the most richest franchise in history, I guess it's kind of hard to argue with anything Jerry's talking about. But
I can argue with a lot of what Jerry has to say.
But look, this is just absolutely nuts, Jerry. Look, I love Gordy's cousin. He's a great kid. Look, Gordy's cousin's a great kid. Look, he's 2-0 in his first 2 starts. But no, you're not giving up on the $160 million guy you just paid $80 million to last season just to play quarterback.
Taylor, open your mic over there. Do we need Cooper Rush taking snaps for the Cowboys? We need to get rid of Dak. Is that the solution?
Are you asking me if we should get rid of Dak or get rid of him for Cooper Rush?
Cooper Rush. We want the controversy.
No, definitely not.
Jerry. Now, apparently Jerry enjoys the Johnny Walker Blue. And listen, I enjoy the Johnny Walker Blue as well. I generally have a bottle at the house. I only drink it on special occasions, and it sits there for like 3 years at a time. Jerry apparently has it delivered by the flat to his home.
Oh my God.
I think he may have got into the sauce there before he decided that he wanted Cooper Rush to win the quarterback battle. So that's not a great call.
No, not a great call at all. All right, here. U.S. Representative Chip Roy. He parsed no words when it came to Greg Norman and the antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour, with him saying, don't come in here and act like you're doing some great thing while you're pimping Saudi Arabian money and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States. Are you taking or leaving? Chip Roy hit the nail on the head when it comes to Greg Norman.
Take it to the bank. Maybe the most emphatic take it that we've ever had in a year plus on this show. The fact that Greg Norman continues to gallop and gallivant along like he's doing anything. Anyone could take $200 million and get people to go play golf. Like, he's not doing anything that hundreds and millions of people could do. Hey, Cam Smith, would you like $200 million to play golf? Yes. That's not because Greg Norman knows what he's doing. And the fact that he continues to act like he's changing golf, or that he has good intentions, he has no good intentions. His only intentions are to destroy the PGA Tour because he hates Jay Monahan and he hates the PGA Tour. He tried to do it in the 90s. He's trying to do it now. He's acting like he's changing golf, and all he does is have a bunch of misfits out there collecting massive checks and flying around on jets that nobody wants to watch play, which is why no TV contract is accepting what he's doing. He's dealing with bad people. He's got terrible intentions to glorify his massive ego, and I'm sick of it. I could do 2 hours on this every day if we wanted to. I know that no one cares, so we don't ever talk about it. It drives me freaking nuts. And anybody who thinks it's a good thing for golf, I got news for you. It's terrible for golf. Look at the President's Cup, which is a really fun event. Half the international team's not there. It's a boat race. It looks like the varsity versus the JV out there, and it's going to be like that on the PGA Tour when half of them are playing live, which no one cares about for a bunch of money, and half of them are in it for the legacy. It sucks. It sucks for golf, and it's Greg Norman's fault, and I dislike him very, very much. So, end of discussion on Greg Norman for the day. I took it. The Yankees clinched their 6th straight playoff berth. They had a walk-off win at home against the Boston Red Sox last night. Yankees World Series or fire Aaron Boone? Take it or leave it.
I got to take this, man. I think right now, if you're a Yankee fan like myself, as you see me, baby, pinstripes forever. Look, we got everything we need right now. We got 2 pitchers that you feel really great going about in any playoff series against anyone.
Is one of those Garrett Cole?
Yeah, man, Garrett. Look, we need Garrett. We need Garrett, and he hasn't had the best playoff performances with the Yankees, but we need Garrett to step up. I feel great about Nestor. He's going to sling that slider, baby, like no other. And the bats, man, the bats are swinging hot right now. We got Giancarlo swinging it. We got Judge just having an unworldly season. It's now, man. What else do we need right now? So I don't see them, I think that he was on the Cubs going into this season. So you somehow screw this up this year, I don't see any way we bring Boone back. I think right now we got to get it done, man. It's now or never.
You forgot to add the championship pedigree that Anthony Rizzo brings with him to the team, all right? That's a champion right there. 2016 World Series, Game 7. What did he do? He had a big knock down the right field line in Game 7. Caught the last out of the World Series. My captain should be in Chicago, is not, but I'll be pulling for him if time comes. It's been a rough go for the rest of the Cubs who didn't sign. Javi Baez stinks, can't get a hit. Chris Bryant's been hurt all year in Colorado. Lester's gone. It's just been a tough go for the Cubs that didn't hang around. But Rizzo seems to be doing pretty well. So that is our edition of Take It or Leave It. As I mentioned, it is an absolute bloodbath over there at the President's Cup. Sam Burns and his partner Scotty Scheffler playing some good golf. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas playing some good golf. And the international team is not great. I was laughing with somebody in the building here a little bit earlier. It's like, we got all these guys, Justin Thomas from Bama, Sam Burns from LSU, Spieth and Scheffler from Texas, got Kisner who went to Georgia. I mean, these like powerhouse, huge golf programs. International teams got Sebastian Munoz who went to North Texas. He's a member of the Mean Green golf team, and that's who's out there for the President's Cup instead of Cam Smith and Abraham Anser and some of the best players in the world that would be on there. It's just whole thing's watered down. Now you got me all worked up. I can't. Trying to have a nice football Friday here and trying to get through the show, trying to enjoy my way into the weekend, and now we're talking about Greg Norman.
Look, we need more people like Chip Rowe. We need more people calling him out. We don't need the people on Twitter adding gas to the fire and just kind of be the wannabe that wants to just be different. No, we need to bash Greg Norman much as possible.
Buy Chip Roy a beer. That's what I need. Just tell him like it is, Chip. I like to hear that. That's very, very good. We will come back and finish up the show. We will have our final picks for the weekend. Hope your Friday is getting along great. It's Hunt and Hill. Got it.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. This week on dropbiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out neworleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Jimmy on this Sunday. It's our 2022 season debut, Football Sunday. Magnolia Bluffs, Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Closing up shop here on a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. I want to remind you about our schedule tomorrow, as we did in the first hour, over on Eagle 98.1. Game day will crank up with Charles Hannegriff and Matt Musso at 1:30 p.m. from Rouse's on Burbank. They will go for 3 hours, handed off to me at 4:30 with the LSU Sports Radio Network. We'll be on set between the ramps of the Assembly Center across the street from Tiger Stadium. We're on for 90 minutes, and then we toss things over to the broadcast team of Gordy Rush, Doug Morrow, and the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. They'll have the call on Eagle 98.1 here in Baton Rouge. And then 30 minutes after it goes final, it'll be it'll be Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite, and myself on the Fighting Tiger postgame show for about an hour. And 90 minutes after the game goes final, we will toss things back to Eagle 98.1 game day, and that'll be Jeremy Hill and Charles Hannegriff. They'll take your phone calls and reactions for a couple of hours. Set the over-under yesterday at about 115-ish, so we'll see how that goes for you guys. I'll be at home hanging out at that point. It should be a fun day on campus tomorrow. Weather looks pretty good, and the Tigers will take the field for a Saturday night in Death Valley. We'll give you our pick to that game a little bit later, but let's talk Saints-Panthers here briefly. We broke that game down a little bit at the end of hour number one. I think Kamara makes a big difference tomorrow. By all indications, he's going to play. Looks like Alontae Taylor is not going to play, but Paulson Adebo should. So we'll swap there in the secondary. But I think you get the better end of that one with the Adebo jumping in. Like, the Panthers are in a bad way right now, and they got a coach that's it's on the hot seat early in the season right now. But we know that the Saints went up there last year and did not play very well in week 2 after a dominant performance against the Packers. Now, there were a lot of ancillary things. They've been flying all over the country because of the hurricane and all that kind of stuff. But it was ugly last year. Got to be better tomorrow, and certainly got to be better than it was on Sunday offensively. How do you think the Saints look on offense tomorrow?
Sunday? I think they need to look like they're running the ball a lot, and they need to feed Ingram, and they need to feed Kamara. And I think being in those NFL meeting rooms and knowing the type of language that's being said is – you keep your foot on a team like this, neck. You don't let the Panthers get confidence. You don't let them come out starting hot, building a word of confidence, and now you find yourself fighting for your life in the fourth quarter. These type of teams, you can put them away early. You get a couple turnovers early. You start fast. You score a couple touchdowns early. all those thoughts in their head start seeping in like, man, whose fault was that? Like, oh, man, we're not doing this right. And you kind of create all that tension against the other opponent by the way you go out there and play, especially when you feel like you're the better team. I know it's a division game and, anything can happen. But to me, if you're the Saints, especially on the offensive side of the ball, got to start fast. Last week and was just not bad. I mean, 3 points, that's just no way for the Saints offense to be. And then obviously we know how bad they were in week 1. So I think this week, got to start fast against this Panthers defense. Try to keep those thoughts of doubt in the other team's head.
It was one thing I saw last week on offense that I really liked, which is pretty rare because it was pretty ugly for most. But I like the role of Olave as the deep threat. You got Juice and Michael Thomas working the intermediate stuff, the short stuff. You got Kamara in the screen game to bring the defense forward. And then Olave's got the speed to get over the top. And they took the shots against Tampa. They just didn't hit any of them, and not necessarily, they weren't necessarily there. But I like that role for him moving forward. I think that they can hit some of those shots in the game tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow, on Sunday. Dante Jackson is iffy for the game. He is questionable at this point. We know what kind of speed he's got, but I like that role for him. I think that Jameis plays better than he did. The Saints offensive line has got to hold up really well. We talked to Luke about it yesterday, and he said they graded out okay. So I think the Saints offense does look a little bit better, although I'm not ready to say it's going to be firing on all cylinders or anything. Mm-hmm. But the defense is there, and I think the defense plays really well against the Panthers. I like the Saints in this game. I like the Saints in this game in a fairly low-scoring game. I've got them 24-21. Saints win it by 3 in Carolina on Sunday.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think this is going to be, a game where really it's going to be up to Jameis. I think if Jameis can get that run game supporting him and he can make some big-time throws and not turn it over, I think that creates an avenue for the Saints to really let their defense dominate. I don't feel great about the Panthers' offense against this Saints defense. I think they just match up extremely well when you look at the Saints defensive line and how they can get after Baker in the corners they have on the outside that can match up with the receiver. So I'm going to go 27-17 for the Saints. They're going to go big-time double-digit win for the Saints. I just don't think the Panthers' offense can score enough. And obviously, Jameis has heard it all this week. I'm sure, as a football player, when you have one of those games where things just don't go your way, it seems like the longest week ever for you to get back out there on the field and kind of fix those mistakes. So hopefully Jameis kind of felt that and knows, like, hey, I can't play this brand of football. My team's going to lose football games, and he can fix that up. And if he does that, I think that creates an avenue for the Saints to win by 10 points.
We do it to finish up every single week. It's our final pick.
Any victory in the SEC is a great victory. We rallied offensively and executed much better down the stretch. We'll look to certainly improve on the offensive performance and its consistency for 4 quarters.
And the New Mexico Lobos.
I think they're playing hard, which has given us a chance to be competitive. I mean, we're a competitive football team, and we have a great opportunity to go to LSU this week and have some fun.
Now, here's Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill's final pick.
All right, Jeremy, what would you like to see in the ball game tomorrow? I think our final pick is a little bit it's expected this week. I was way off last week, but what would you like to see this week?
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier in the show. I want to see them make those adjustments in special teams. I want to see you kick the ball off and the team not return it 55 yards the other way. I want to see you punt the ball, and I want to see Emory Jones not tackling the returner. And I also want to see us not catch any balls on the 5-yard line on punt return. There's a lot of things here. I can keep going if you guys want me to, but I'll stop right there. But I think the most important thing is getting that confidence from Jaden Daniels. This is the perfect opponent for him to make some big-time throws in the pocket. And I'm sure I would love to look at those advanced stats, some PFF stuff, and look at the big-time throws. I'm sure that number isn't very high for Jaden. So I think, looking at him this week, I think you got to get those guys going, especially with Kayshawn. Now, you can get some of these other guys a lot of confidence. I'm not worried at all about the defense. I think they're going to be lights out in this game. So, yeah, for me, get that special team shirt up, and let's get JD5 going and get him confidence going out throughout the season.
Be some light boxes tomorrow with LSU spreading the field a little bit. I would think the running game would get going in the game tomorrow. You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think, to me, I've got to work. Looking at the Florida State game and looking at, how they ran the ball in the late in the game against Mississippi State, to me, that looks like 2 different running attacks. It's like your running backs couldn't get anything going at all. And I know Emory struggled to get going a little bit there, but I think Williams ran the ball hard. Goodwin ran the ball hard. So now you got to get Emory in that fold. And if you can get all 3 of those guys in that fold, I think, you can get the running going. I don't know what's going on with the Kane situation. I don't know if he's fell out of favor. Is he injured? What's going on with that? But let's get those other guys going. And I think if you can do that, the run game will definitely get going.
All right, your pick for the ball game.
I'm going to go 55-17 LSU.
That will do. 55 points will go very, very nice. So this is simple for me. I want to see the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands quickly. Every time he takes off running tomorrow, I'm going to roll my eyes because I know he can do it. I know it's a huge part of LSU's offense. It's a big benefit to LSU when he uses those legs. But I need him to use his arm too. And this is a game, before you get into this conference stuff, where there's got to be some rhythm, there's got to be some reading the defense, and you've got to get the ball to some of LSU's best weapons on the team, which is what the wide receivers are. So get the ball out there to Besh early. I think they're going to do that very early in the game. Get the ball to Jeray Jenkins out there. Let's see what Malik Neighbors can do. Get the ball out in rhythm. That's what I want to see from LSU in this ball game. I do think they're going to run the football very well tomorrow. I would like to see that, and I'm with you on special teams. And then for the last thing, for the secondary, I want to see a continued no bust. That's really, really encouraging, the way that they are being coached and the way they're positioned. So that's a very, very good thing. As far as a pick goes in this game, I don't think the offense scores quite that much because I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more. I've got LSU winning the ball game 42-7 tomorrow inside Tiger Stadium. I think that LSU takes care of business tomorrow. I think they'll be ready to roll, and I won't love them if they're wearing white pants and white helmets, but that's all right. That's what they want to do. We'll be in the good uniforms when we take the planes, when we take the planes next week, and that's really all that matters. So another time for a Saturday night in Death Valley, an awesome day on LSU's campus. Very, very much looking forward to all that. So that's our final pick for the game this week. We won't talk about my 30-10 pick from 30-20 pick from last week from Mississippi State. That was a bit of a misfire, but that's a good misfire. We like that. If you missed any of our show today, you can catch it on demand, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN.com on the on demand tab. You can go to Hunt and Hill and see everything that we have done throughout the week, the month, the year, all that. It's all on YouTube as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find it all right there. Today, we broke down LSU and New Mexico for the first 30 minutes of the show. Went over the entire NFL slate, little Saints-Panthers to end hour number one. Gave you our gambling picks from the SEC slate. I would go back and listen to those. The boys are hot. They are winning some cash week after week. 18-9, Jeremy 15-12. Go check out those gambling picks from 2 o'clock. Ellis Williams from the Charlotte Observer broke down the Panthers as well. Loaded this evening, Louisiana Prep preview at 6 o'clock, leading you into Catholic and St. Thomas more, and they'll be back after that game with Louisiana Prep scoreboard. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home. Little Riot Radio Hour coming at you. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. It's Hunt and Hill.